Hello everyone, and welcome to my analysis video on the recently revealed LEGO Harry Potter direct-to-consumer Hogwarts Castle set. And before we begin, I just want to say that I am so glad that this set ended up being a micro scale. I know that a lot of people really wish it had been minifigure scale to go with the Great Hall and Whomping Willow sets that have already been released. I know a lot of people just don't like... Well, really, I misspoke. It's nano scale, not micro scale, if you really care to know the difference. But anyway, yeah. Personally, I mean, would I have preferred to have gotten a minifigure scale direct-to-consumer set? It would depend on what it is, but going off of Hogwarts Castle, nanoscale was the only way to do it. And just want to say throughout this video, I will be trading off the terms nanoscale and microscale, but basically take them to mean the same thing in this context. But anyway, so, yeah. I understand people's complaints. It's just that, I mean, as Hogwarts goes, this set looks amazing. I can't wait to talk about it. So let's talk about it. First off, the set comes with 6,020 pieces, making this the second biggest set LEGO has ever produced, second only to the second iteration of the Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon from LEGO Star Wars. This is set number 71043, and yeah, starting off, you can see the front of the box showcases that there are 4 minifigures included. You have a couple of side builds around, but of course, nearly all of those 6,020 pieces go into the absolutely massive build for Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, featuring the Great Hall, the main tower, several bridges, several towers, the main entrance. There's a ton of stuff here. You have the boathouse. So yeah. And taking a look at the back of the box, you can see that there are more builds included that we'll get to later, but also the model does have a full interior around the back, a nanofig scaled interior, so not minifigure scale, but I mean, considering how this is a nanoscale model, it only makes sense that the interior would also be nanoscale. And because of that nanoscale, LEGO was able to squeeze in a ton of detail here, a ton of different locations from throughout the films, and yeah, I can't wait to talk about all of it in more detail, so let's do that. So first, here's just the main set image for the set that shows everything included, minus the set's 27 nanofigures, or, well, there are 32 in total, but this picture does show the 5 Dementors. But anyway, yeah. So basically, how this analysis is going to work is we'll take a look at the exterior of a specific section of the castle, then we'll look at the interior section inside of that specific section. Starting off, let's take a look at the Hogwarts Great Hall, which, honestly, I think this version might look a bit better than the minifigure scale version, to be honest. I mean, first off, the proportions are a bit more accurate, since the most recent minifigure version was definitely a bit short, so this is more accurate in that regard. But yeah, around the base of the hall, you have a bunch of lights, you have the pillars, you have a bunch of very thin windows, and up at the top, you have a bunch of silver tooth pieces used to represent more windows, which is nicely done. Interesting how this nanoscale build was able to fit in more windows than the minifigure scale version. And I mean, in general, this nanoscale version is actually nearly the size of the minifigure Great Hall, which is really crazy. But yeah, up at the front you have the entrance. You can see that you do have the 3 spires up on top. You have some clear rods attached up at the top to sort of display the Dementors flying around, which is nice. And you can see that beside the Great Hall, you have sort of the courtyard, which is enclosed by a wall. And you can see a ton of printed window insert pieces with sort of the little silver bars on them. Those look pretty nice. And yeah, and then you can see that, of course, the entire Hogwarts castle is built on a rocky cliff, using a lot of big ugly rock pieces in dark tan, but then also a lot of different sloped bricks and cheese slopes in gray and olive and tan. It looks really good. Also at the bottom right, you can see the little boathouse, which is nice to get. And you have, like, little trees all around the model. Like, there is so much detail on the exterior. I could probably talk for an hour just about that. But I mean, we should also get to the interior, so let's take a look at that now. And so first off, here is the interior of the Great Hall, or at least from a very nice angle. You can see that first off, there's a ton of stuff going on. We'll take a look at all of the different Nanofigures included later in the video, but you can see that the Great Hall does have tables for all 4 houses. You get the house table, which looks like it can fit in 5 figures. You can see that Dumbledore's seat is built up a bit, but just the average seats actually just use upside-down brown neck bracket pieces, which is a really smart technique. You have stained glass windows, which is nice. The floating candles aren't really candles, they're more little floating torches, but I think at this scale that's perfectly fine. And then you can see stickered on the back wall, you have some large windows, which is nice. So yeah, nice detailing in here overall. And then from a higher angle, you can also see that above those windows, you have 4 floating house banners, 1 for each house. So yeah, pretty nice stuff for the main hall. But of course, there is, as I mentioned prior, the entire castle is built on rocks and sort of a cliff, really. So you're probably wondering what's under the Great Hall, what's in the rocks, or inside, the interior, whatever, the basement, whatever you want to call it. Well, here we have the Chamber of Secrets, which is underneath of the Great Hall. And this is a really awesome interior space. It might even be my favorite interior space in the entire set. I mean, this is just really good. First off, it was brilliant of LEGO to use the new Nagini mold in sand green for the basilisk. That scales so well with the Nanofigures. I love it. And then for the snake statues, they use the Ninjago vermilion serpents in light bluish gray, which looks really good. You have the brick-built version of Slytherin's face, which is really derpy, but I really like it. You have 6 stickers on the back wall for his hair. So that's a bit much, maybe, in terms of stickers. But it's alright, and, well, maybe it's not hair, maybe it's just wall detailing, but, yeah, I mean, they're fine stickers, they don't add much, but they also don't take away much, and it doesn't look like they would be too hard to put on, so I'm just sort of indifferent to those. And you can see that the sort of 1x1 black tile on the floor there, that is Tom Riddle's diary. So yeah, pretty great interior space. Anyway, next section is the main tower of Hogwarts, and interestingly, this main tower is actually larger than the one included in the Hogwarts Great Hall set, both in terms of height and in terms of depth. Yeah, this tower is actually, in all directions, larger than the minifigure scale one. That's weird. Luckily, it's also much more detailed, using actual detailing instead of just big cylinder pieces to get the detail across. And this one actually looks round, which helps. But yeah, I don't see any sticker detailing used here. I mean, I can't tell. There might be some sort of like, you can see the dark tan line around the top of the up of the lower section of the Great Hall. There might be a sticker under that, but that could also just be built up. But yeah, you have a lot of windows around here, a lot of different details. I like the variation with a bit of dark tan to add contrast. The roof is done very well. It's pretty much what I'd wanted from the minifigure scale Great Hall main tower roof. So that looks pretty good. We'll get to the Hungarian Horntail in a minute, and I really do like that LEGO did include the triple spire here, since that was missing in the minifigure scale version. So yeah, pretty great tower. So for the interior of this, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Starting off at the bottom, you can see that right next to the main Chamber of Secrets under the Great Hall, the main tower has the entrance to the chamber, with the sort of 5-serpent door. So that's pretty nice. Next up, you can see that the next 2 floors are moving staircases. Those actually do have the ability to rotate, which is nice. So you can actually move the staircases. And just taking a much closer look at one of them in particular, you can see that the build is pretty simple. Just using a couple of the sort of notched 1x4 pieces, a couple of those, and then the walls are just stickered inside. I mean, like, yeah, the wall, like, the inside uses the cylindrical pieces that are used on the outside of the Great Hall Tower. And honestly, I'm perfectly fine with them being used on the inside, and LEGO just doing stickers here, because, like, there's really no other way to get the detail here, as opposed to the Great Hall, where LEGO was just being a bit lazy. So yeah, I really do like this design choice. It works really well in this scenario, I feel. And all of those paintings are well done. And again, there are 2 sections of stairs, so there are a bunch more paintings as well. And I just have to hope that one of them has my good pal, Sir Cadogan. Seriously, LEGO, please don't tell me that you forgot to include Sir Cadogan. Cadogan? However you pronounce it, anyway, just a thought. Doesn't really matter if he's included, it would just be a nice reference. But yeah, so again, you do get 2 stair sections, and above the second one, above the second one is Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. You can see in the middle, the build there is for the sink, where you just have what I guess would be like the cheese slopes of the 4 actual sink sections, and the transclear tiles are the mirrors. It looks pretty good, this little subassembly. Then on the back walls, you have some stickers, you have some pillars, which I like. On the left, you have a mural of a mermaid, which actually belongs in the prefect bathroom, but I'm perfectly fine with LEGO just putting it here. Just another reference to get, and I mean, it's still in a Hogwarts bathroom, so I don't really mind. But then on the right side, you can see some stickered sort of bathroom stalls, and one of my favorite details on any sticker, one of my favorite sticker details in the set, if I phrase it better, you have Moaning Myrtle stickered up on the wall. I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people, or at least a few people, do wish that she'd been included as an actual nano figure, but I'm perfectly fine with her just being a sticker. First off, her just being 2-dimensional makes her seem more ghostly compared to the 3D and physical mini and nano figures. But also, like, I mean, she actually gets pigtails. And seeing as how pretty much all of the nano figures here just have just minifigure heads, I don't mind LEGO just stickering Myrtle on so she can have her pigtails. I like it. Yeah, and I also love that she still does have the little nano figure base, though. That's gold. Anyway, so then next up you have the golden gargoyle that sits outside of Dumbledore's office. And of course, if that's above Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, then we can only assume that the top floor of the tower is Dumbledore's office itself, which is pretty simply done. I mean, you just have room to stand a couple of figures. You have Dumbledore's desk with just a little clear stud for the pensieve. You have a sticker in the background to represent and sort of some stuff in the background. I can't think of it right now, but like, yeah, it just looks nice. Yeah. And then up top above the office, you just have a couple of stickered portraits on that 2x4 tile. So, yeah. Moving right along, here we have the next section of the castle, which is actually a couple of different sections. Starting off, you can see in the front, you have that large bridge going from the courtyard to the main entrance, or at least that's what I'm calling it. It might officially be called something else, but the rightmost section of the castle, how about? And that bridge section, there's no interior, no back. It's just fully hollow. But that's perfectly fine, since it's just a little bridge. You just put your Nanofigures across it. Doesn't need to be anything more than that. So I'm perfectly fine with that. But anyway, you can see behind that you have sort of a rectangular section and a round tower. And those are actually just one connected build, but LEGO decided to make them look separate, which I think was a nice touch. But again, those are actually one build. They share the same interior space. It's not like there's no disconnection. I'll put it like that. And then you can see another smaller bridge to the right of the tower. Again, no back to that, but I'm fine with that. And yeah, really not much to say with the exteriors of these two sections. Yeah, I mean, you have some the brick pieces used on the rectangular section, so that's nice. But yeah, I mean, not much to say here. Going around to the back, though, starting off underneath of the backmost small bridge section, we have a room featuring the Mirror of Erised, so I guess technically I lied, because even though the frontmost bridge has nothing going on, the backmost bridge does. Underneath of it, you have this room with the Mirror of Erised. Just some flames. I mean, the mirror is just on a 1x2 gold tile. Just a sticker, but it works fine. You have the little 1x1 round stud, which I'm in trans red, which I'm guessing is supposed to be the Philosopher's Stone. Pretty huge. Yeah, then you just have some flames. Pretty simple build, but I like it. Next off, underneath the tower, you have the magical chess room. And you can see that you do have a white chess piece and a black chess piece represented by Nanofigures. I'm guessing those are supposed to be the king or queen. And then the other pieces are just represented by assorted existing LEGO bits. I would guess that these studs are pawns, the cheese slopes would probably be knights if I had to guess, and maybe the cones are rooks, or bishops, one of the two. Yeah, and then in the back you just have a sticker with some fire and some pillars, and yeah, pretty nice stuff. And then underneath of the rectangular section, you have this last sort of Philosopher's Stone-based area, at least that we can see right now, that being the Chamber of the Winged Keys. You can see that there's another sticker in the background showing just 6 keys flying along. You have a couple of 1x2 tiles, each with 2 keys. And then you also have up at the very top, you have a 1x2 just with 1 key with the bent wing, which is of course the key that fits the lock. And really nice detail here, one I think is very smart, is in order to get a broomstick into the room, that's an unprinted paintbrush piece. That's a really good part usage. Works very well for a nanoscale broom. Scales well with the Nanofigures. I like it. And now I should mention that there is one more Philosopher's Stone-based room in the set. It is apparently a room featuring Devil's Snare. Now, I could not find it anywhere in the set. It's not in any of the pictures LEGO's released, so I don't know where that room is. But there is certainly a room featuring Devil's Snare. So, yeah, just thought you ought to know. But anyway, moving up, you can see that the next section of the tower and rectangular castle build section is just sort of some corridors. You can see you have a sticker for the door to the room of requirement, as well as one on the back wall stating the message from the Chamber of Secrets written in blood. And it looks like there might be a room behind Filch. That might just be empty space, but who knows? Maybe that's the Devil's Snare room. Or maybe like the set doesn't also include another thing that I don't know where it goes. The set does include a golden statue of the architect of Hogwarts. Maybe that goes in that room. Or maybe that room is just empty space. Or maybe it's something LEGO hasn't even mentioned yet, so we don't know what's in there. I don't know. But anyway, then up in the top of the tower, we have Dolores Umbridge's office, which has to be one of my favorite interior areas in the set, because it's just very well done. The pink clashes beautifully with the tan. You have sort of some studs on the wall representing the kitten plates. Again, I love the use of the just upside-down neck bracket for a chair. You have a little stool for Harry. It's very well done. I like it a lot. And then at the top of the rectangular castle section, you have the Defense Against the Dark Arts room. You can see on the back wall you have a sticker featuring some Cornish pixies from the Chamber of Secrets, but obviously the megaphone is based off of the Bogart sequence from The Prisoner of Azkaban, and I'm not sure what the sort of headlight brick with a 1x1 light bluish gray round tile is. Maybe that's the Bogart cabinet? I don't know, just a thought. But yeah. And then you just have a couple of magnifying glasses in here, a couple of large, maybe bottles up on the shelf, and then a large hanging skeleton. But anyway, the last section of the castle, moving on to that, we have, I don't really know what to call this. I've been calling it the main entrance. I'm not really sure what this is, to be honest. Like, it looks very good, don't get me wrong. I'm just not entirely sure what it represents. I don't think it's supposed to be like the clock tower section from Prisoner of Azkaban, although I might be wrong. But yeah, you can see that sort of in the center you have a large open door, and up top you have a 2x2 hole. Nothing in there, it looks like just a hole. And then you have sort of four large towers. The two in the front are quite thick. The two in the back are quite thin. Anyway, underneath of here, we do have two rooms. The first of them being the Room of Requirement. Interesting that the doors to the Room of Requirement are in there in the main corridors in the rectangulars and tower section, but then this section has the actual Room of Requirement. Bit off there, but I'm just glad to get the Room of Requirement, so I don't really mind about the inconsistency. But there's a lot of nice detail in there. The wall has several stickers on it to have just a bunch of stuff throughout the room. You have a build for a bunch of stacked up things. I don't know what, with the neck brackets, not sure what that's supposed to be, but anyway, I believe the gray cup with a blue stud in it is supposed to be the Goblet of Fire, so that's a nice touch. That I believe that sort of the black sloped section on the right behind Draco, I believe that that's the Vanishing Cabinet. So yeah, there's some nice stuff in here. The other ground floor section in this part of the castle is Snape's Potions classroom, featuring some potion shelves built up in the background and some more just stickered on. You have some cauldrons that are pretty huge. I love how the cauldron in the back is so big that you could literally fit a Nanofigure inside of it. And then I also love on the right, you have a Slytherin student standing in front of a potions vial that is several studs taller than he is. One more thing I really like is, much like the black 1x1 tile in the Chamber of Secrets being Tom Riddle's diary, here we have a sand blue 1x1 tile to represent advanced potions making, the book. So yeah, nice touch. Next section is the library. You can sort of see on the right, there is a chalkboard stickered on to the wall. We can only see half of that, but anyway, the library itself, you have just one bookshelf, but that works fine. You do also just have a couple of just stacks of books. You have one work table set up with a couple of chairs, and then you just have a couple of loose chairs as well. Yeah, this looks pretty good, I feel. And then on the right of this section, at least looking from the back, you have the Gryffindor common room. On the left, you have a stickered, what's it called? The pin board? No, that's not, bulletin board. That's it. And there is a solid 6 studs of space between the bulletin board and the chalkboard in the library, so maybe there's a third room in the middle there. Maybe that's the statue room or the Devil's Snare room, but I don't know, because there's not a single picture that allows us to see even a tiny bit inside of there. But anyway, the common room itself is nice. You have a little lamp on its table, and then you have a couple of couches built up with some brackets and some tiles, and you just have one large seat in the back. So, yeah. So, that is the entirety of the nanoscale Hogwarts direct-to-consumer set from LEGO. Or at least that's the entirety of Hogwarts itself, because the set does have far more to offer besides just Hogwarts, starting with the 4 minifigures. LEGO decided to do something very special with this set. Instead of including just, like, desirable variants of existing characters, LEGO instead decided to include minifigures of the 4 founders of Hogwarts. Those being Godric Gryffindor, with a brown wand and the Sword of Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, with a dark brown wand and Hufflepuff's cup, Salazar Slytherin, with a dark tan wand and printed with Slytherin's locket, and Rowena Ravenclaw with a black wand and printed with Ravenclaw's diadem. The 4 of them stand atop a simply built minifigure stand, each one sort of being displayed behind their respective house crest. And yeah, it's a simple design, but it's nice. Taking a more in-depth look at each of the 4 figures. First off, here we have Godric Gryffindor. You can see that he uses the new Doc Brown hairpiece in a dark orange color. He has a rather angry-looking face, and his beard is the Santa Claus beard in an orange color, which I think might be new, but don't quote me on that. It might have appeared in like a Hobbit set, but not entirely positive. It might be new. Anyway, torso and legs are nicely done. Nothing too unique, though. Nothing to write home about. And then just a dark brown cape. Pretty cool figure overall, though. I really do like the hairpiece. He looks good. Next figure is Helga Hufflepuff, who also looks alright. She has the sort of Hoth Leia hairpiece, which I think is fine. Her face, I think, works pretty well. Her torso is well detailed with sort of the old-fashioned dress, as well as the sort of the skirt piece. Yeah, she also looks pretty good. I like the little pouch on her skirt. That's a nice touch. And then she also just has a dark brown cape. She also gets an alternate face with the second expression looking a bit more cocky, maybe? I don't know. Figure number 3 is Salazar Slytherin, who looks fittingly angry, I feel. He just uses a white Sensei Wu beard, which I think works pretty well. He has a black cape with collar, and I like the sort of pattern printed in a sort of a light metallic blue, going all down his jacket and robes. It looks pretty good, and I also really like the how he has his locket just sort of printed around his neck. That's nice. Last figure in the set is undoubtedly my favorite, it being Rowena Ravenclaw. And she looks very good. The hairpiece is good. I love the face print with her diadem, and I think the mouth is very well done. She looks very intelligent. The torso print is my favorite of the four. It's a simple design, but it's nice. You have sort of the polka dots and the silver highlights, and she's clearly printed to have an extremely slim figure. And then the dress piece is also nicely printed. Rowena also gets an alternate face, where she looks much more stern. So yeah, those are the set's 4 figures. Pretty cool for minifigures, but I feel as though where the set really shines in terms of characters is Nanofigures. Now I'm going to go through all of these guys pretty quickly because the set does include 32 Nanofigures. But don't worry, they are all very simple, so this should go by rather quickly. First is Harry Potter. I'll only talk about the robe design once because every Hogwarts student has the same robe design, just switching up the colors depending on the house. It looks nice, like the tie, like the stripe, like how they're in robes. Yeah, nothing too complex, but it's good. Harry has a unique face design, of course. No lightning scar, because it would have been way too difficult to print something that small on here. But yeah, Harry just has his glasses, a big smile, and some messy hair. He looks good. Next is Ron. He has just a standard smiley face, and his hair is a bit more messy than the average figure, just with a little part in it. It looks pretty good, I feel. Not sure about how on his left, our right, it sort of goes really high up, away from the part. Not sure what that's about, but overall, Ron's pretty alright. Next up is Hermione, who just has shorter bangs. Like she won't have hair printed on the back of her torso or anything. This is it. She just has... Did I say shorter bangs? I meant longer bangs. Hermione has really long bangs. She looks good, though. I like it. Next is Draco, who has a frown on, and the hairstyle is pretty accurate to how his hair appears in the films, and this is actually the hair design that appears on most of these Nanofigures in the set. Like, just the non-specific ones all have this hairstyle, except usually in black, which I think works perfectly fine. Yeah, Draco's good. Next is Dumbledore, definitely the strangest looking of any of these, because, I mean, his beard. Lego decided to continue his beard down onto his torso from his head, and golly gee, is it special. I mean, what's weird is that I'm pretty sure that that some of these have printing on the neck, yet for Dumbledore they decided to keep the neck dark red, which really does mess up with the transition from head to beard. I don't know, like, I like the attempt, and I do like the face. Like, I like how the face is done. It's just that, like, it doesn't look like his beard continuing down onto the torso. It just looks like he has, like, a gray collar or something. I do think he looks nice, though. I like the gold highlights. Dumbledore's alright. Next figure is McGonagall, who is one of my least favorites. Starting with, now, these Nanofigures can't have hats, and I get that, but I don't know why LEGO tried to depict McGonagall with a hat then. Like, they do realize that McGonagall sometimes just doesn't have a hat, right? They could have just done gray and just given her hair, and it would have just looked better in my opinion. And anyway, she does have lips instead of a normal smile. I feel there are a couple of other figures here that use lips, and I think McGonagall did it best. I still would kind of prefer if she just did a little smiley, but this is all right. And then the design for the robes is very simple. Instead of having the complex patterns, she just has little blue dots. And then she just has the sort of black brooch. I mean, another very simple one. These are all very simple, but she's all right. Next is Snape, Very simple torso design, just with purple with a line running down. It looks good. Hair is good. Good job, LEGO. Next one is Remus Lupin, one of my favorites. I really like how the hair is done. Really like the beard. And the color, the dark tan, it stands out against the rest of these darker figures. Next up is Argus Filch, who is fully bald this time around. He just has some sideburns. And the suit, like, again, very simple but nice. Next is Dolores Umbridge, who I feel has one of the best torso and leg designs of any of these, but oh god, the face. Like, the hair's good, but LEGO, why are the lips so thick? I don't get it. It looks really bad, in my opinion. Anyway, other figure with lips is Bella Lestrange, who, if anything, looks even worse with the lips. I mean, why are they so thick? But anyway, I feel as though she's one of the worst-looking ones in general, because, like, her hair should be very long, but it can't continue down past her head, so it just looks a bit awkward. And then, like, her torso is very simple and nondescript and doesn't really look Bellatrix-y. And also, it's a bit odd how we get her here when LEGO didn't make a Bellatrix Lestrange for the new sets. So this is the 2018 Bellatrix minifigure. This is it. And I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that, like, every other figure in the set does have a new variant, like... Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, even Umbridge has that seemingly cancelled Bricktober version that I really hope isn't cancelled, even though all signs are pointing to it being cancelled at this point. That's sad. But anyway, next up, we have he who must not be named himself, Lord Voldemort, and okay, this guy's face. He's so blank, and I love it. He's one of my favorites because of how he just looks he just looks so blank. I like it. He looks kind of derpy. Other than that, robes are very simple. So here you have what is officially the first of 12 unnamed figures, because after Voldemort, LEGO just says that there are 3 from each house, but this is clearly Neville Longbottom. The teeth, the hairstyle, the fact that LEGO even bothered to print this guy having a different hair or color, when for most of the nondescripts, LEGO just went with black because it's cheaper. Yeah, this is clearly Neville. I like it. The likeness is good. Yeah. Next is another one that is clearly supposed to be someone because LEGO decided to do a special hair design to make them look more feminine, and again, it's more expensive if they print a different color for the head than the body, so yeah, I'm guessing this is Ginny Weasley with the red hair. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is Ginny. And again, like Bellatrix, LEGO hasn't yet made a new Ginny, so this is the 2018 Ginny minifigure. Honestly, though, Ginny does look pretty good. And I feel as though if any of these female figures were to work with not having the hair carry down onto the torso, it would be Ginny, since she didn't have very long hair to begin with, so this works. Last of the 3 Gryffindors is, I believe this would be, Parvati Patil? Not Padma's sister. I can never remember her name. It's like Parvati or something. Anyway, she looks good. She has the same hairstyle, I believe. Yeah, okay, same feminine hair design as the redhead Gryffindor, but a darker skin tone, and yeah, this is a nice one. Moving on to the Hufflepuffs. The first one just has a light skin tone and black hair. Second one has a dark skin tone and black hair. Third one has a medium skin tone and black hair. Yeah, LEGO didn't put much thought into the Hufflepuffs, I can see. Then for Slytherins, this one has a medium skin with black hair. This one has dark skin with black hair. This one has light skin with black hair. And, well, to be fair, these ones could be characters that I can think of, like the darkest skin one could be Blaze Zabini, and then the one with the lightest skin could be Vincent Crabbe or Gregory Goyle. But yeah, I can't think of who the medium skin one would be, and as for the Hufflepuffs, the only one I can think of is maybe the one with the really light skin could be Justin Finch Fletchley, but that's all I've got. Moving on to the Ravenclaws, we have one with dark skin, and just to be clear that this isn't like I'm not being racist or anything if that's what you're thinking. I'm just going by like the color. So this is the darkest of the three colors. It's a reddish brown. Then we have this one, which is the lightest of the three colors, which is a medium, a light nougat, if I'm correct. And then the medium color is a medium nougat. But anyway, so yeah, this is just black hair, and the very last of the students here is a blonde female, so I believe that this is Luna Lovegood. And she looks pretty good. I really like Luna here. Like, honestly, like, it's very simple. It's just the same feminine hair print as Ginny and Parvati, whatever. Anyway, but I don't know. I think the very blank expression works very well for Luna. I love this figure. It's a very nice one. Oh, and also, like, I'm not sure if this is the case with printed Nanofigures, but I know at least with the unprinted ones and with Ant-Man in the Civil War set, LEGO does sometimes give out extra Nanofigures. Now, I'm not sure if in, like, the SHIELD helicarrier you got extras of the printed ones, but if you do get extras, then you're gonna get, like, 27 extra Nanofigures, because there are 3 more standard Nanofigures, as well as 5 that are a different mold. But anyway, so yeah, those are the last of the students. Now let's move on to the next category of figures, those being the Dementors. And these are a different mold. These actually use the Emperor Palpatine hologram piece, just newly molded in a straight black with no printing. And then those are just set on top of a 1x1 round black stud with a hole in the middle. And yeah, I think these work pretty well for Dementors. And the reason they're on a stud with a hole in the middle is so that they can attach onto these clear bars. They can be floating around the Great Hall, which I really like. That's a nice touch. And you can see that there are places to attach all 5, which is good. Then next up we have a white Nanofigure and a black Nanofigure. Those are just the chess pieces. Last one is a gold Nanofigure, which is supposedly a statue of the architect of Hogwarts. It'll probably go in one of the empty spaces that I don't know what's in there, like in the middle of the corridor or between the library and the common rooms. One of those will probably house the statue, or maybe it'll be in the hidden devil's snare room. I don't know. But yeah, it's just a golden Nanofigure, nothing to write home about. But yeah. So there are a couple of other things in the set after the castle and the Nanofigures. The first of which is the boat, or more accurately, the boats, because the set comes with 5 of these. And they're all the same build. They just are pretty simply done. I mean, the main section is just the window piece, the curved Harry Potter window piece, just with a couple of pieces added on and a couple of pieces underneath. If I had to guess, you can probably only fit one figure in here wedged between the 4 studs of the sort of modified 2x2, 2x3 piece that has a 2x2 array of studs, but then you have a centered third stud. You know the piece, you see it under the window. Yeah, I'm guessing that the figure will just be centered in between the 4 studs on that. And yeah, you get 5 of these boats. Then you have a mini Whomping Willow with Ford Anglia. The Ford Anglia is just 4 pieces, but the Willow looks very nice. It will have a bit of articulation. It looks like each branch will be articulated, and it looks like it might be able to spin around, which would be nice. And yeah, I like the sort of dead bush pieces as they were first introduced in this color. The stock pieces were first introduced in dark orange in Minecraft for dead bushes. They work pretty well here. I like them. Yeah, pretty cool. Next we have Hagrid's hut. Strange that we get Hagrid's hut with no Hagrid. I mean, I understand why he's not here. I mean, it's because LEGO didn't really want to, well, It's because Hagrid is larger than a normal person, so he would look weird as a nano figure, but I feel as though LEGO could have done a micro figure of him, maybe. You know, the LEGO games style figures that came in the LEGO board games while those were still going. I don't know, just a thought. Think it would have been nice, but I'm fine without him. Just, again, bit weird to get his hut without him, but it's a good bit. But at least the hut is a very good build. Funnily enough, despite being so tiny, it's probably the most accurate version of Hagrid's hut LEGO has made yet. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, out front you just have a pumpkin patch. The hut, or I guess the two sections are both 8-sided. And then you also get Aragog, which is just a medium nougat spider. Same color that you got 3 of in the Aragog, like the minifigure scale set. Interesting thing to use what was once one of Aragog's children as Aragog himself in this new scale. I like it. Very last thing in the set, a buildable Hungarian horntail from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It looks nice. It has a couple of wings. The face is very blocky. The tail has some nice barbs, lots of spikes. I like the use of a battle droid body for sort of the back body of it. And yeah, you can see that it does just use Exoforce arms for the legs. One of those has the stamp piece attached on the bottom for the foot, so it can just attach onto a tower to sort of climb up and tear up the roof. So yeah, that is everything included in the LEGO Direct-to-Consumer Hogwarts Castle set. Everything on the exterior covered, and all the side builds. Everything on the interior covered, and all the nano figures. I have covered every thing that I could possibly talk about with this set. Well, except one. Will I be getting the LEGO Harry Potter Nanoscale Hogwarts Castle set? The answer is yes. Obviously, I am in love with this set. In my opinion, it is easily the best set LEGO has produced this year. The best set LEGO's made in years. I cannot wait to get this set. It's not going to be on release. I forgot to mention earlier, the set has a VIP release of August 15th, main release on September 1st. There is no way I'm getting the set then. I mean, like, I just spent all of my money on the minifigure scale sets. I'm spending every dollar I get now on the CMF. I am not going to have money for this when it comes out. I might end up getting it, like, around Christmas, so late December, early January. Not even sure about that, but I promise you I will get it eventually, and I promise myself I will get it eventually, and yeah, I mean, this is an amazing set. It's just really expensive at the same time. But you know, this kind of reminds me of another occasion from quite a few years ago. Back when I first got into LEGO, and there was another $400 set that caught my eye, and it was the set I wanted more than any other. And it was literally a hollow gray basketball that I only wanted because it came with 25 Star Wars minifigures. So yeah, it's kind of strange how far I've come since when I first got into LEGO, and I wanted the Death Star because it had a bunch of minifigures, even if it doesn't look that good. And now all these years later, what I think is one of the best looking LEGO sets ever made is one that isn't even compatible with minifigures, and I love it just because of how beautiful it looks. It's amazing how times change, isn't it? And it's also amazing how times have changed with LEGO Hogwarts. I mean, like, I think it's going to be fun, and this is something I plan to do, maybe, at some point, to just sort of look back at what LEGO Hogwarts was. Like, comparing this to the 2010 Hogwarts Castle set is a bit funny. Comparing it to the 2001 set is just a bit strange, to be honest. I mean, there's no contest. I mean, this just looks so good. It'll be really interesting to see, well, for one thing, what people do with some of the new techniques here. I'm curious to see if we might see more nanoscale Harry Potter builds using these nanofigures as templates. I mean, there's so much that could go right from this set that I'm really excited to see what the future brings. I hope LEGO does more nanoscale sets like this, because I love this set. And really, that's the theme of the video. I love this set. I need to get it. Not sure when I get it, but when I will get it, but I promise you that I will. And I would recommend that you get it.